I think that a lot of the Democrats who've been around for a long time are more excited because they think that the movement will have died, because they think of it as his movement. They think that he tricked young people into supporting these policies. I don't think anybody could have done that. I don't think Bernie could have done that. The only reason Bernie worked this time is because those people were there waiting for a Bernie to speak to them.
Yes.
And that movement, especially the young people, developed over the past 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. And they learned the right economic message, they learned what needs to be done to fix the economy, even as they were being told that the economy is doing much better now. And they know that we need to change our strategy towards international terrorism. We need to push for peace, even though they've been told to be scared every single day. They've been told to conform in the way that past Democrats have, and yet even without a Bernie prior to a year ago, they were ready with the right positions. And those people are not going to become conservative tomorrow. They still are there, and they still want another politician like Bernie Sanders. They're there for when he speaks in the future, and they're there for other politicians as well.
tytnetwork.com/join, wolf-pac.com. They think we're done. We're just getting started, brothers. Okay, and so I can't begin to tell you. I know it sounds, they won't believe it, right? They meaning the regular, usual suspects on TV and stuff. They'll say, oh, these delusional guys, they've been delusional all along, right? The best is yet to come, okay? Right. The fight has yet begun, okay? So this was the warning shot across the bow. And like John said, they didn't take it seriously. They think like, oh, a bunch of young kids stopped playing video games and smoking pot, and Bernie tricked them into thinking that they could do something. And then, you know, I want to add something that's very important. Somebody, and I'm sorry I forget who, but one of you guys in the audience said something that really struck a chord with me. This generation that voted for Hillary Clinton is used to losing.
Yes.
They have earned their cynicism and their skepticism, because for 40 long years they've done nothing but lose. Mm-hmm. So when someone comes up and says, no, I actually think we can win, in their experience, that's outrageous. Progressives don't win. Their job is to get their ass kicked by conservatives, right? Because they grew up in the era of big money. So when Princeton did that study and said, 1,800 policy positions over 20 years, public policy is not at all affected by public opinion. You lost your democracy. You know when that started? When they started tracking? Not in 2010 after Citizens United. They were tracking from 1981 to 2002. They started tracking in 1981. We'd already lost our democracy back then. And I've told you this 1,000 times. You know why? 1976, Buckley v. Vallejo. 1978, Bellotti. Those two decisions said money is speech, corporations are human beings, and hence corporations have the right to spend unlimited money in politics. Now, Citizens United put that on stairs, but they didn't need Citizens United. They'd already won. Mm-hmm. It shot a dead horse. So let me give you another stunning fact. And Represent.us had a great video about this. And it's mind-boggling. Okay, the top 200 corporations involved in politics that do lobbying. You know how much they spent over the last 5 years? $5.8 billion. Well, that's a lot of money, right? Now, Hillary Clinton would tell you that's for their health, that they didn't expect any favors return for that $5.8 billion, because they like to give away billions of dollars and not get any return on investment. Silly top corporations in the world, right? Maybe they're altruistic. There is no such thing as an altruistic corporation. Now, you want me to tell you what the reality is? You know how much they got back from the government? Those same 200 companies? They put in $5.8 billion. Oh, but they only got back $4.4 trillion.
Wow.
Just those 200 companies. They got back $4.4 trillion. That's what happens when you privately finance elections. The people who finance those elections, those private corporations and citizens, are the only ones who win. That same Princeton and Northwestern study. Direct correlation between special interest and economic elite and public policy. So I'm going to break it down more because it's amazing. Do you know that if 0% of the American people, that's the bottom 90%, okay, in that study, But let's call it the American people because the other economic elite are in a different ballpark, obviously. Okay, so the overwhelming majority of the American people, if 0% of them want a policy in a democracy, that policy should have no chance, right?
Right.
You know what percentage chance it has? 30%. Okay.
Wow.
If 100% of the American people want something, you know what chance it has of success? 30%.
Wow.
So whether nobody in America wants it or everybody in America wants it, it doesn't matter. It's the same 30%. But if you go to the economic elites, the ones who privately finance our elections, if 0% of them want it, legislation has 0% chance of succeeding. If the rich veto it, it doesn't matter how much you want it, there's no chance that it passes. Now, if 100% of the economic elite want it, no, it's not 100% chance that they get it, but it's 61% chance, okay? So if the economic elite agree on something, a very good chance they're gonna get exactly what they want. If they don't want something, like for example, tax increases on them, no, you don't get those. End of the conversation, because we don't live in a democracy. So so yes, people grew up in that for 40 years. They think that's reality. To them, they say, get real, get real.
Yep.
We lost, just realize it. Sit on your couch, do nothing, and vote for the establishment, right? That's what we've been doing for 40 years. Every time we try to fight, we lost, right? So you guys are being idealistic, unpragmatic by trying to win. All you're supposed to do is lose gracefully by electing people like Obama and Clinton, okay? And then they'll take Bush's tax cuts, which Bush couldn't make permanent, and Obama made 94% of it permanent, and then bragged that he did tax increases for 6% of the money affected, okay? So that's what they're used to. But that's not what we're used to, okay? And you know what happens? At some point, the tide turns. It happened in civil rights. You think they got it overnight in civil rights? They fought for 100 years. It happened for women's rights. They fought for 70 years. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take 70 or 100 years. First of all, we're in the internet age. Second of all, as I've said a million times, once women's rights movement got into the streets, it only took 7 years. By the way, we just did Democracy Spring. We all just got arrested a couple of weeks ago. So there we are. We're in the streets. We're doing civil disobedience. So we're coming, okay? And at some point, the fever breaks. At some point, the tide turns and history gets made. And that history is not impossible, it's inevitable. And so Bernie Sanders' campaign here, and I've got to say one more thing about Bernie Sanders as a person, okay, is that Bernie, he stepped up. So as everybody else, and I like all those other guys, all the progressives that are real, the Russ Feingolds, the Elizabeth Warrens, those are all wonderful people, right? As they were fiddling, should we challenge Hillary Clinton? Should we not challenge Hillary Clinton? You know what Bernie did? He said, here I am, okay? I'm Bernie Sanders. I've been fighting for this for 40 years. Oh, Hillary Clinton's unbeatable? That's fine. I'm going to fight for our positions. I'm going to stand up. You have to give Bernie Sanders all the credit in the world because he stepped up and he fought for us. And that's why we love him, okay? And so now back to the movement. This movement almost took down as big a Goliath as I have ever seen in politics. And with, in the beginning, no money, no support, no structure, infrastructure, nothing, right? You think we're going to lose the next election? You think we're going to lose the next fight? I think they don't stand a chance. 2020? By 2020, we're going to be so much stronger than them that it's going to shock them. They're not going to believe what hit them. So I could be wrong. Hasn't happened yet. Okay, I've been telling you exactly what's happening ahead of time. I don't tell you that because I want to brag, partly true, but mainly because I want to let you know when I tell you to get excited, I tell you that we're going to win. I'm not kidding. I'm not BSing you. I've proven it over and over again. We're going to win, okay? So, yes, tonight's a bad night, but we're just getting started, and this movement is on fire. And so we felt the burn here, but that's just the beginning. There's an inferno on the way.